Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to continue this series on 101s on teas that we sell and talk about Pu'er Tuocha. Now before we begin, I highly recommend you check out our back catalog of episodes, and I'll make sure that I put some germane episodes up here on top. So we do have other episodes on Pu'er. Pu'er is one of the 6 categories of tea. It's considered a dark tea. There's other types of dark tea, but Pu'er is the most famous of that. We also have an episode of what are tea cakes and tea bricks, and then most recently I talked about on the episode we did on ginger pu'er and the regular pu'er that we sell, what they are. So this episode is going to be short. So what is Pu'er Tuocha? So Pu'er Tuocha is Tuocha. Cha means tea, tuo means bird's nest, and I'm really excited to be able to sell this. We didn't sell it when the company was the company, me and Casey, were virtual, but we decided to sell it now that we're going to be brick and mortar because of the tactile nature and the beauty of these things. So you can see it right here. I'll take a picture of it, but it looks like a bird's nest, right? That's where you get the name Tuo, which means bird's nest in Chinese. So how is this made? Let's review it. So Pu'er is a fermented tea. It's a probiotic tea. So they pick the leaves, they're going to wither them, then they're going to roll them, just like with oolong, and they roll it to break down the cellular level to get to the kind of the taste profile they want. And then eventually what they're going to do is get the leaves and throw a bunch of water on them, and that's going to cause fermentation. And that's how we get to the fermentation, to the probiotic aspect of it. So this right here, for example, has its own microbiota, its own kingdom, mostly of fungus and but some bacteria as well on these things. No different than Greek yogurt and other fermented foods that we eat. And so after they get that fermented state, then they're going to dry it, then eventually they're going to steam it again, and that's where they're going to be able to pack it into shapes. Now, Tuocha is probably not the most common version of a pressed tea cake. It's probably going to be the round cakes that we might sell at the store, or you can get the old blocks. And I talked about in other episodes that historically, this is how tea, cha, was made and sold and commoditized through most of tea history. It wasn't only until the Ming Dynasty, which was 1300s to 1600s, where the emperor issued a promulgation that all tea had to be loose leaf. So if you look, that is only 700 years ago, and tea's been around at least in recorded history since at least 2500 BC. So for all that ancient history up into the 1300s, tea was in brick form, whether it be green tea, pu'er, or whatever it was. Black tea is a later innovation, which we might talk about later. Oolong has been around for quite some time as well. So they were in brick form, and why? Well, it's easier to ship, wouldn't get bad as quickly, and it was also used as currency in different parts of the empire. So you're going to find more of those bricks. But the Tuocha is great. So if you go to the store, I allow customers, when you wear gloves, to feel it. And one of the great things, again, you use the 5 senses when it comes to tea. And one of them is touching these things and just see that these are a bunch of leaves that have been steamed together and coalesced into a shape. And so when you put this in your kyushu or your gawan or whatever, your teapot, your regular one, and you steep it, afterwards, it's gonna be leaves. And I'll show a picture of my leaves after I've taken out the kyushu. So I like those teas where it looks one thing before you steep it and then it unfurls the leaves afterwards. We talk about in the Yangtze yellow, the yellow tea that we sell, it does that as well. Oolongs are notorious for that as well. A lot of the greens will do that as well. Black, not so much, because black is really oxidized and many times they chop it up. But those are the teas that I love. It's like when they look one thing the before and then they want the look thing after. So this is the liquor, or the liqueur as the Europeans would say, of Pu'er. And as you can tell, Pu'er is very dark. I've talked about it, it's very similar to coffee. It's gonna have earthy tones of kind of caramel, dark chocolate, earth. It has a very earth taste. You certainly would not put milk and sugar in it and you drink it as is. In terms of steeping, with all the Pu'ers, and all the dark teas, I would say you go strong. So you either go, like if you have a temperature kettle where you can adjust the temperature, I'd probably go 200, if not full boil. And then you can steep it as long as you want. Typically with me, I will steep 2.5 minutes, and I'll steep the same leaves twice. So in closing, Tuocha, great tactile. We'll probably only sell this in the store. We probably won't sell it virtually, don't hold me to it. And we're likely only gonna sell it in 1 ounce patches. Don't hold me to that, but that's what we're probably going to do. And it's one of the most unique teas because remember, these all come from the same leaves. So where you get this comes from the exact same tea plant as sencha, as something that's radically on the other side, or white tea or yellow tea. And that's the beauty of tea. Guys, post in the comments what's your history with Pu'er tea. I'd like to hear from you. Until next time, take care and God bless.